Francis, how are you?
I'm good. How are you all?
Very well, thank you. And how could we help you today?
Well, I'll get right to the
Okay.
question. My ex, we've been divorced since 2005, and we have two daughters. They're teenagers in high school.
Okay.
And I've not been working for 2 years. I've lost my job. It's been really difficult getting that. So we're in a transition right now where I can't really afford to stay where I'm at. He's taken that situation and suggested taking full physical custody. I mean, on his terms, he believes.
How old are
And
the
with-
children? How old are the children?
They're 14 and 16.
14, 16. Okay.
Right. And so he has also declared that he will cease child support. He has taken a substitution of attorney, meaning we had gone through mediation. He went out and got an attorney. In the last week, I had a visit from police on a call for child abuse, and a caseworker who came by the home claiming child abuse, emotional and physical abuse, which are all fabrications. But
Did either the kids say that?
you know, when I discipline them and they are throwing their tantrum or just upset, they would always say, "I'm going to call Dad." This is in the past. And I would say, don't do that. Be careful. It could be taken incorrectly or wrongly. It could be used.
How do you discipline them? What do you do?
Well, I have to admit I'm an authoritarian,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that's not easy. I mean, my dad was that way, but, the guy was a great dad, and I find myself being like him in that way. I expect when I ask them to do something that it's done. I mean, it'll go to 8 times asking them to clean their room, and it still doesn't happen.
Yeah. At what age did you stop
So-
spanking them? At what age did you stop spanking?
I never really spanked them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was more of a harsh word, and I have to admit, maybe a raised voice in a way.
All right. So
but-
how could we help you today? What would your question be for us?
My question is that in the transition, I don't have a place to stay right now. I just have so many things going on, and wanted him to. I wanted them to stay with him a little bit, just temporarily, maybe for a month. But because he has twisted the situation around, I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
What do you think? Sounds like that might be a more stable environment right now.
Oh, I don't know.
I-
I don't know if I'd ever give up the custody of my kids.
Oh, that's right. He's got all these requirements.
Yeah, he wants
Right.
to cease child support. He wants to take over custody,
Yeah,
full
yeah, that's
custody.
right.
And I would never relinquish any of that with
No.
my children. At the same time, I would try and ask the question, Francis, have I been overbearing in my family system? So much so that my children are reacting and my husband reacted by leaving me. Is there this authoritarian thing probably didn't just fit in with your kids? I've got to believe that somehow that may be part of what your husband's reacting to in his divorce to you.
I do. They had, and I'm not at all implying that I want to relinquish my raising them. I've raised them since they were born. I've had full physical custody, I think for particular reasons, but
Oh, you have full custody right now?
I do.
I see.
Yes.
Is that unfair? In other words,
It's-
why is that the case?
There is a reason. I think through mediation as well, we had wanted to decide between ourselves what's best for the girls, knowing that, however, they've had free reins. I've more than encouraged them to stay with their dad sometimes.
So
He's
he has
remarried now.
visitation. He has
He does.
visitation? Okay.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
isn't joint custody, and I'm curious about that. Like, you have full physical custody of your kids, and I'm just wondering, it sounds like the whole family's being very reactive now. Your husband's trying to get them back. He wants full custody. He's calling Child Protective Services on you. There's lots going on of reactivity here.
Yeah. We're almost out of time.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
final advice you'd like to give to
one,
her?
One thing that I would say, Francis, is that a lot of times I hear this, that people in divorce want something from an ex-spouse that the ex-spouse didn't provide during the marriage. And so if you're wanting to hold him accountable, or it's time for him to do his part, don't think you can do that without consequences. So really think through every decision you make.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that's helpful. Very tough, and I'm glad that you guys were able to remember those horrible consequences. I wouldn't do that either. I would never give up custody. And okay, so here's another example of two people trying to solve a problem through divorce. And when you try to do that, you just create so many more problems that if you could put all the energy that you have into the divorce and all the things, if you could have put that into getting some help and resolving some things, because you see, you loved each other at one time, you can get that back. I mean, people don't believe that they can, but they absolutely
Yeah.
can.
Well, and Mylan, you brought up her really looking at herself and her style that's contributed to all
Yeah.
this and where she is
And
today.
that's really
And
important.
that would be healthy
Yeah.
for her
To,
to do.
for the girls to hear,
For the girls.
and for the
Mhm.
husband to hear, and for her to grow, and for them to maybe have a different course over the
Yeah.
next 10 years and the 10 years after that, because their lives are intertwined forever with two young girls.
Right.
Yes. As our lives are intertwined here on this program, and we're glad that you're intertwined with us, either watching or listening.